Oh, hey, have you heard about the new ZZZ 2.0 anniversary?
Yeah, I heard about it. It's really bad, isn't it?
Yeah, it's real bad. I heard the new Miasma mechanic is absolutely horrible.
Oh yeah, you can't beat the mechanic without the new Rupture agent, right?
Absolutely. And there's also the atrocious story. Severe drop in quality from what the previous patches provided.
Yeah, real severe. Then there's the tutorials.
Oh man, the tutorials.
The tutorials and the white text, yeah, it's just bad, man.
Yeah, it's real bad. Have you tried it out for yourself?
You mean like the patch?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, me neither.
Huh.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it seems like the internet is abuzz with comments about how terrible the new ZZZ 2.0 anniversary is. From problems regarding the new Miasma mechanic to the new story not delivering what was needed, there are many issues that we're going to take a look at and see if it's truly as terrible as many are making it out to be. Let's start off with the story. I'm going to show mercy to my editor today and not go into excruciating detail with it because I think I've tortured him enough already with my previous HSR video. Spoilers for the 2.0 story, so skip to this timestamp to avoid them. To give you the quick rundown, Vyncent is recruited by Yixuan as new apprentices of Yinque's summit. The overarching story revolves around Vyncent arriving at Waifei Peninsula, meeting the crew, settling into the temple, and from there continue their ether aptitude training as well as their proxy activities. We learn more about Yixuan, her lost sister, and get involved into a bit of trouble orchestrated by the Exaltists, where they're trying to turn humans into ethereals, and we promptly put a stop to it. The story lasts for about 4 hours, give or take, and has quite a number of black screens with white text. I didn't count them myself, but if what I've seen on the internet is to be believed, there's about 20 plus of these going around. Out of those, I've identified around 5 instances where comic panels would have been much better, while the rest are just unimportant moments. You know, something like Wise tells Yixuan what he learned. The other 5 instances should have gotten comics at least. I'd say Yixuan helping Wise unlock his meridians is a pretty important moment in the story. These moments did not have to be reduced to such an extent and should have been developed properly, so yes, in this case, the storytelling quality has decreased a little and I am currently looking at Hoyoverse with an annoyed expression. In terms of the story being told, it's okay. It's nothing wild, nothing insanely hype like 1.4 was, but it's just okay. There are some really cool moments at the end supported by action-packed cutscenes, but I do think that considering it's 2.0, they definitely could have done more with it. Personally, I think that the current story was a bit dragged out. They could have shortened it and have more events take place like they did in 1.4. But alas, it wasn't to be. It's an okay story for a version patch, but since this is supposed to be a full-blown expansion for the game, Hoyo should have brought more to the table. I was very surprised to hear people complaining about the tutorials because I honestly can't recall the tutorials being that up in your face in the story. So I actually went back to review my footage and see if it was really that bad. What I discovered is that I reflexively skipped all of the tutorials shown and figured stuff out on my own. I swear I have no memory of this, my brain just decided to delete it from storage. But yeah, I guess there were a few in there that broke up the pacing. Next up, we'll be talking about the new semi-open areas that make up the Lemnian Hollow. It's pretty big and you'll unlock some new subzones as you progress through quests. These zones are full of enemies to fight, new puzzles to solve, you know how it goes. Note that I'm using the term puzzles really loosely as these puzzles tend to be solved just by looking at an object and pressing a button. Another puzzle is one where you have to create a loop that will run through specific nodes in a certain order. Outside of these, you'll find some combat challenges, some chests scattered about, and some bang boo stages. I don't mind the bigger areas. I kind of enjoy them, but I would like to take this moment to remind Hoyoverse that we play this game for the combat, not for the puzzles or the bang boo stages. I'm sure some of you will enjoy these, but if you're going to ask for my personal opinion, the less I see of these, the better. Have we not learned from the TVs already, Hoyoverse? Stop interrupting the combat flow with these pointless activities. We want to fight, not find some key for some locked door somewhere so we can get another chest. What I also enjoyed about version 2.0, aside from the Lemnian Hollow, was the fact that the story allowed you to play with all 3 new characters. You were able to put them through actual combat scenarios rather than just try things out in the trial or in a free training session. An absolutely glorious change is Ellen Jo's rework, changing the way her flash freeze behaves. Before, you'd only expend this resource by enhancing your basic attack combo, but now, as long as you have this unique resource, you'll go into her new moveset, which not only is amazing to look look at, but also has a lot of utility as it provides automatic dodges, parries, and even has an invulnerability window like Yanagi and Miyabi's movesets. I really need to upgrade her disk drives and take her for an actual spin because I have not been using her at all lately. Now, the Temple Restoration event. Oh dear lord, the Temple Restoration event. Listen, you have to understand something about me. I am a sucker for this type of mechanic in games. When it comes to taking something old and remaking it better than ever, I am right there on the front lines. I am ready to sweep the floor until it's spotless, repaint the walls, redecorate everything. So obviously you'd think I'd absolutely love restoring the temple, right? Wrong! Okay, hear me out. When I want to relax and play something like House Flipper or Power Wash Simulator or Satisfactory, I am in a certain mood. A slow, relaxed mood where I take my time and enjoy myself building or improving or reworking my base entirely. Guess what kind of mood I am in when I want to play ZZZ?
Go, go, go! Parry that! Dodge this! Move fast! Destroy his ass! Boom! Yeah, baby!
When I play ZZZ, I am not in the mood for a slow progressing management sim. I am here for the fast, fun action, and this does not scratch that particular itch at all, especially since all you're doing to play the event is navigating a menu interface. The cinema event, however, I like because it lets you get closer to the agents. Yes, this was created to farm the ever-loving heck out of the parasocial players, but I do like seeing how these various NPCs act when watching a movie. It lets you get to know them on a bit more of an intimate level. I want to see this mode developed. I want the scenes to become more cinematic, and hell, it doesn't even have to be just in the cinema. If the movies are now on the menu, you can make anything work. A coffee date? Hitting up the local ramen joint? There are so many possibilities. It's not the gameplay that's important here, it's just seeing the characters interact with one another, and that's what I want to see more of. It doesn't have to be a one-on-one date with Phaethon. Hell, I'd love to see the Cunning Hares or Victoria Housekeeping go out to the movies as a squad. That would definitely cause some fun chaos. The mecha event is just there. I don't really have much to say about this one. It's got an interesting premise where you start off with a weak mech and it evolves as you play through the event. You can even upgrade abilities by investing tokens into it to create a build of sorts, but it's more of a gimmick more than anything. I guess you can have fun with this for about 30 minutes. So, let's gather our thoughts and come to a conclusion. ZZZ's version 2.0 has some issues. Reduced quality of storytelling, the implementation of puzzle mechanics that in my opinion should not be in a game like this, and the slow temple management sim to name a few. But it's also done some good, like the Ellen rework, letting you trial the characters in the story. Yixuan is really fun to play with, the cinema event is pretty wholesome, and the anniversary rewards are still the better ones out of the big four. Another fun little discussion I found online was the ones comparing the anniversary rewards of ZZZ and Withering Waves. Somehow, people were trying to say that getting a free 5-star character and weapon means nothing because these characters are useless. I don't know how you can come to that conclusion because Lycon is still one of my best stunners, while a free 5-star weapon can be very useful for some of my characters that are still rocking 4-star weapons. I don't really think there's any reasonable argument to be found in this discussion, and it's most likely just people being upset over the fact that ZZZ gave out a free 5-star for their anniversary when Withering Waves did not. Even so, ZZZ does not have a perfect anniversary, but then again, there is no such thing in the Big Four now, is there? At least here, we spend time with real characters. I am never letting Kuro Games live this down, am I? But it feels like I'm forgetting something. What could it be? Ah, yes, of course, Miasma. The new mechanic that is heralded as the second coming of the Night Soul Shield from Genshin Impact. The mechanic that will turn ZZZ into the new HSR. The thing that can only be destroyed if you have Yixuan. Did I miss any other similar arguments? So what's the problem with Miasma? People are saying that this mechanic is added to be an impediment to players and a way to force people to pull for Yixuan, whether they like it or not. Before the patch went live, players and non-players alike were complaining that this would invalidate all previous characters because nobody would ever be able to remove this shield if they weren't a Rupture agent. Then people got to play it for themselves, and guess what they found? That the Miasma mechanic is nowhere near that level. There have been clears with all sorts of teams ranging from stunner teams, anomaly teams, teams that have mostly 4 stars on them with few or 0 5-star weapons, but apparently that wasn't enough. The conversation changed from Yixuan being an absolute must-pull to deal with the Miasma to her making it significantly easier to deal with the Miasma than other characters. Oh, really? Are you telling me that the Rupture agent is going to have an easier time dealing with a mechanic that is supposed to be its specialty? Ooh, dear lord. Next thing you're going to tell me is that Stunner agents are much more suited to filling the daze bar compared to other characters. Alright, I know I'm being facetious. But my point stands. The Miasma mechanic is not the death knell of ZZZ that people made it out to be. Pretty much any character can deal with it, some having an easier time compared to others depending on their kit and moveset. When the version went live, the first thing I did was hop into Shiyu Defense wanting to test the mechanic for myself. I hadn't pulled for Yixuan at that point, and I managed to clear the entirety of Shiyu Defense with an S rank on my first try, without knowing any of the boss's moves, mechanics, and without even bothering to pull off proper rotations. You can see I wasn't doing a good job because the clear itself on the Miasma side had 3 minutes and 33 seconds. When I shared this online, I got told that it's not a valid clear because I had to use Miyabi on the second side to carry the struggling team. I don't feel like I was struggling, but okay. Apparently, it's been decided by someone, I don't know who, that clears aren't valid if you go over the 2-minute 30-second mark on either side. Okay, sure. I'll go ahead and take that arbitrary condition and apply myself to clearing it. So my first try was a clear, and I had to go ahead and not play like a complete buffoon to see if I could get a better clear. And would you look at that? I managed to get a 2-minute 30-second clear on my 4th try. The only thing I changed was to swap Astra Yao from Miyabi's team and put her into the Miasma team. Now, I am by no means a sweaty player. The way I like to do Shiyu is to just get the S rank to get the rewards and not bother with it after. That's the same thing I do in HSR and Withering Waves. I don't know who decided that your clears aren't good enough if you go past the 2-minute 30-second mark when you have 5 whole minutes at your disposal. As long as you can comfortably clear and earn the maximum rewards, it shouldn't matter if your clear is below or above that mark. If you know your teams and can play them decently, what's wrong with having a longer time on one side and a much shorter time on the other? If your concern is related to power creep, I can understand. But Miasma cannot be considered a mechanic that incentivizes power creep, at least not in its current form. If they made this mechanic an absolute pain to deal with and would inflate your clear numbers far beyond the 5-minute mark and push you into A rank, then yes, I would consider that a problem. I've heard people say that ZZZ doesn't have an accessible endgame, meaning it takes a lot of effort, strong characters, or player skill to clear it. But out of the big 4 games, this is the one where I had the easiest and fastest time getting my account ready and clearing endgame content. And that's despite my notoriously bad luck with pulls and artifact stats. So, okay, maybe I just got lucky, but honestly, that feels unlikely. On the other hand, I've also heard people claim that ZZZ is so easy you can just spam buttons to clear the endgame. Those two claims can't both be true. If the endgame is that easy to clear, how can it also be considered inaccessible? Which one is it? If I'm being honest, the new Miasma boss kinda reminds me of the fallacy of no return from Withering Waves. They both have a phase change that makes them hyper aggressive, they both start flying and wasting time in this new phase, and they both can be staggered out of those phases with planning and proper use of your cooldowns. Actually, I might be talking out of my ass on this last one. It looks like I may have completely depleted the Miasma shield just before he started flying, but I can't be sure because of how the bar is designed. Can somebody that has more time to devote to this please leave a comment and tell me if he can be staggered out of the shield before he starts flying, or does the purification effect only take place after he's finished this sequence? Anyway, the point is, Miasma is not a problem at the moment. If they're going to further increase its HP later down the line, sure, I can see it becoming an issue. But at the moment of writing, things are fine. ZZZ is not dying, it's not telling players they can't clear the endgame reliably without the new unit, and it most definitely is not the new HSR. If it does end up invalidating entire characters due to something like HP inflation or new mechanics that can't be cleared with old units, you can bet your bottom dollar I'll be calling that out immediately. But I want to hear from you guys. How have you found the new 2.0 expansion? What are your thoughts on, well, everything? The story, the Miasma, the events? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Like and subscribe to help the channel grow. Seriously, you have no idea how much you guys help me out by pressing just a single button. And I will see you in the next one. Until then, have a good one.